Alright, hey guys, Fiddle Ferret here, and welcome back to another Manga First Take, Manga First Impression, or review, whatever you want to call these videos. But today, we're going to be taking a look at the first volume of Toppu GP, which I was honestly quite excited for, because I have recently been buying and reading the new omnibus releases of Oh My Goddess, and I love it. I love Oh My Goddess way more than I thought I would, and this obviously is from the same creator, so I was really interested to see where this goes. As you can see, which is pretty evident from the cover here, this is a story about racing at its core, I guess you could say. And it's motorcycles, and I'm not really into that kind of sport at all. I've seen it before, and I don't dislike it by any means, but it's not really big over here in the States. But I'm also very much not surprised to know that this author's one of his series is set really closely about racing, because there are so many things in Oh My Goddess that are closely based. You can tell that the author really has a love of like automobiles and racing, so I thought it was really kind of amusing to see that he actually went with a full-on, looks like sports series here. So right here on the cover, or on this page, I should say better, we have our two main characters. And we have Uno. Uno is an interesting main character, I think, personally, because he's kind of laid back, he's kind of chill, doesn't seem like completely your typical kind of main character here. And then you have Mine, who I actually think is a really strong secondary character, but I'm going to get back to that in a little bit. We'll talk about a little bit more maybe about Toppu first. So, Toppu loves watching Mine race. Mine is a very, very accomplished racer. She's very good at what she does. And so, even though he's really laid back, he has a passion for watching her race, and he also has a very unique skill in that he can practically watch anything and be able to copy it for himself. I guess you could say he just has like a really good memory, down to the point where even when he watches her race, he's able to correctly predict exactly what time, which is a bit ridiculous, but you know, we'll just go with that. And so he definitely loves watching her race, and you find out later in the story, after she makes him go out for his first race himself, that he also has a knack for it. So far, Uno's motivation, as we can see, is pretty much to be number one. He doesn't like to be, when he's racing, he wants to be out front, which is just kind of funny, the fact his name is Uno. Really unique character name there, if I do say so myself. I'm sure that wasn't on purpose or anything. One thing I'll say about the art in this series is that the author does a very nice job with the action sequences. You really get a feel for the speed and the power of the machines. So that's, even though the art style, I don't know if I'd say it's simple. Not all of it is simple by any means, but it's not like a super outlandish style, but when the racing scenes are drawn, you can really get a scope and feel for the speed and the power of the motorcycles, which is always really important, I think, in a sports manga like this. See some really good action sequences here. So there's lots of things like this, obviously, you'll see throughout the series. Although I will say, I think his greatest strength is still in drawing characters, particularly female characters. Uno is not drawn poorly by any means, but he's, by definition, seeing as he's kind of drawn as this laid-back character, I think Mine stands out so much more, and this is kind of the big point I wanted to get to with this review, and I've got to really agree with Insidious Swede, who is another favorite kind of manga reviewer like me, and I think Mine is a much more interesting character so far. Like, honestly, I wish she was the main character. She has, well, first of all, a lot more personality, and she just seems more interesting, and I like her attitude, and I think it would have been really kind of cool if you had like a really strong female lead character in a series like this, mostly because it seems like a lot of the other racers are male, and I think it could have been really cool to have just this really badass, I mean, she already is, and so like I said, Uno, he's not a poor character by any means, but there's something about Uno's personality and her go-getter and her feistiness and her aggressiveness that gravitates me toward her character so much more than it does to Uno. And who knows, maybe he'll grow as a character more, but we get a lot of scenes like this where he's got his eyes and he wants to be the fastest. He wants to be number one. He doesn't like being second. But I don't know, like, I mean, like, this stuff here is really cool when he's racing like this, but I feel like when you get to Mine's sort of racing and her aggressiveness, it's much more interesting. Like, it's much more impactful, it seems like, because obviously, you know, I mean, I don't know, she feels like a main character, and Uno, half the time, just sort of doesn't. So, I don't know, it'll be really interesting to see. Obviously, I think Uno is a fine main character, but I just honestly really prefer Mine. I think she's a really cool character, and half the time when Uno's on the track, or we're really concentrating on Uno, I'm more interested in seeing what, I mean, look at this. Why isn't this the main character? Half the time I'm just really interested in seeing more of what Mine is up to. So this volume really mostly is a really big setup for Uno. It's getting him set up racing for the first time, getting his feel for the bike, telling you a little bit about the sport, giving you a small hint of Mine's past, and right at the end maybe setting up like a potential rival for Uno as well. So hopefully we got a decent split of both the characters racing in this series, and I'm going to be completely honest, I hope we still get that decent split, because I really like Mine, and I hope she doesn't sort of fade the better and the higher Uno rises in the sport. So that'll be really interesting to see, I think, in future volumes. But anyway, guys, I've been Fiddle Ferret. Hopefully you did enjoy this. If you did, leave a comment below, or just slap a little like if you would. But anyway, guys, I've been Fiddle Ferret, and I will see you back on the prowl next time.